Your Excellency, I recognize you, sir. I would also like to introduce to all of us the First Lady of Ondo State, the wife of our dear Governor, Her Excellency, Mrs. Esther Oluwaseun Aiyedatiwa. Your Excellency, I recognize you, ma'am. I would also like to recognize the presence of our amiable Deputy Governor in Ondo State, His Excellency, Dr. Olaide Owolabi Adelami MNI. I recognize you, sir. You're welcome. Let me also recognize the presence of the wife of the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Abosede Olubukola Adelami. I recognize you, ma'am. You're welcome. I would like to recognize the former Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency, Dr. Rahman Olusegun Mimiko, CON, the Iroko. Let me recognize and amidst the Chief Judge of Ondo State, my Lord Honorable Justice Olusegun Ayedun Odushola. My Lord, I recognize you, sir. You're welcome. Let me recognize the President, Customary Court of Appeal, my Lord Honorable Justice Eunice Aderonke Alade. I recognize you, ma. And by extension, all the judges from the Ondo State Judiciary, using my Lord Honorable Justice Adegboyega Adebusoye as a point of respect to all noble judges, I recognize you all, sirs and ma'ams. You are welcome. Let me recognize the chairman of today's occasion, Chief Wole Olanipekun, OFR, CFR, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. Let me recognize our guest lecturer, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman, President Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, and his amiable wife, Mrs. Ololade. I recognize you, Ololade Oyedele. I recognize you, ma'am. You are welcome. Mr. Oyedele will be talking on the lecture titled Ondo State Yesterday, Today, and the Future. I recognize you, sirs and ma'ams. You are welcome. I would also like to recognize the presence of another special guest in person of Ms. Olu Arowolo Virgin, the special advisor to the President on Energy. She is our keynote speaker. I recognize you, ma'am. You are welcome. Let me recognize the Secretary to the Government of Ondo State. He is also the Chairman, Planning Committee of the Ondo State 50th Anniversary, Dr. Taiwo Olumide Fashoranti. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. I would like to recognize the presence of the Chairman of APC in Ondo State, Engineer Adetime. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Bayo Philip, the Head of Service. I recognize you, sir. We also have with us former Deputy Governors of Ondo State. I would like to recognize the presence of His Excellency Otumba Omolade Oluwateru. I recognize you, sir. You're welcome. We also have His Excellency Alhaji Lasisi Oluboyo. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. Let me recognize on the top table Dr. Taiwo Malumi. Papa, I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. We also have Dr. Tunji Abayomi. I recognize you. Honorable Korededu Ile. I recognize you. Chief Alexander Olushola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We also have our Papa, Bashorun Sende Arukbofa, one of the architects of the Ondo State. Daddy, I recognize you, sir. Let me recognize the Ashiwaju of Akure Land, Honorable Ifedayo Abegunde, the Executive Director, Corporate Services, NDDC. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. I would like to recognize in our midst the heads of security agencies. I'll use CP Adebo Wale Lawal, the Commissioner of Police Ondo State Command. Sir, let me use you as a point of respect to all heads of security agencies in our midst. I would like to recognize our Mama, Chief Mrs. Dr. Fola Shade Tinumbu Ojo, the Yaloja General of Nigeria. Mama, I greet and recognize you, ma. You are welcome. I would like to recognize Erelutoyin Olumilu Amak, the wife of the former Senate President David Mark. I recognize you, ma. You are welcome. Let me recognize from the Federal, the Member House of Representatives representing Owo or Self Federal Constituency Honorable Timei Adelegbe. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. Let me recognize another member, House of Representatives, representing Idonre, Ifedore, Honorable Festus Akingbaso, Fesi West. I recognize you, sir. You are welcome. All APC chieftains in our midst, I will use the ambassador designate, Ambassador Olushola Iji. Sir, let me use you as a point of respect to all APC chieftains in our midst. The members of the Ondo State House of Assembly, I recognize you all. Members of the Ondo State Executive Council, let me use the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Ondo State, Dr. Abraham Olukayode Ajulo, ONSAN. I'll use him as a point of respect to all the members of the State Executive Council here present. I would also like to recognize the presence of all our royal fathers. I'll use His Imperial Majesty, Oba Alayeluwa Ajibade Gbadegeshi Ogunwoye III, the Olowo of our Kabiyesi. I'll use you, sir, as a point of respect to all our royal fathers and their beautiful Oloris here in our midst. I greet you all, sirs. Let me recognize all religious leaders. I'll use our father that prayed with us, the chairman Kan Ondo State, Reverend Father Anselm Ologunwa, as a point of respect to all religious fathers. I recognize you all, sirs. You are welcome. All permanent secretaries and accounting officers in Ondo State, I greet you all. You are welcome. All labor leaders, using Comrade Ademola Olapade, the LNLC chairman, Ondo State, as a point of respect. All APC family, I greet you all. You are welcome. All our Iyalogists, and Babalogists, Bogba, Estambai, all civil society organizations, I recognize you all. The good people of Ondo State, gentlemen of the press, we are all welcome.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, we thank you very much for joining us at this event, a very special one in the life of our dear state, Ondo State. As it is appropriate, in like this, we need to say a proper thank you for coming, even though the vote of thanks will still come at the end, but it's important to say thank you for coming first. I'd like to therefore invite the chairman of the Planning Committee for the 50th anniversary celebration and secretary to government in the state, Dr. Taiwo Fashoranti, for the welcome address. Dr. Fashoranti, please. I'm sure that the cultural troupe is ready. As soon as we are through with the welcome address, we shall be inviting the cultural troupe to entertain our guests. Dr. Fashoranti, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Well, first, I want to thank God for the opportunity to be standing here and for the huge responsibilities placed on our shoulders by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ondo State. God has helped us so far. Tomorrow we continue. Let me say, I will just stand on the existing protocol because it's a long list of protocols. So permit me and excuse me if I decide to go that way. Having said that, I want to say a big thank you to His Excellency for the show of leadership, meticulousness. The planning has been going on for a very long time, and we've had to undergo a lot of changes, big ideas from His Excellency, and this is what you've seen here. Actually, mostly 99% is ideas which we've been able to put into place. Thank you, sir, for your leadership. Mr. Deputy Governor, you're welcome, sir. Thank you for your support. I can't thank you all enough. Our elders, former Governor Mimiko, we talk once in a while, and he gives me, insight into one or two things. He was secretary to the government at some point too. And my royal fathers, my religious fathers there. You've all traveled from far and wide. Mr. Governor was very, very particular about the audience for this lecture. And he will just bring us names, bring us names, bring us names. Have you invited this person? Have you invited this person? At times, those of us on the committee will start wondering, where did he get these names from? You know, it's like an encyclopedia of the history of Ondo State. Thanks for covering our backs, sir, because we know that if it had not been for you giving us a lot of insight, it would have fallen short quite a whole lot. I want to thank you all for your journey. I was a young man when Ondo State was created. I think I was 11 or 12 years old. A little bit inquisitive and nosy young man. People who know my father, Baba Fashionti, will know what I'm talking about. Now, this is nostalgic to me because seeing that I'm here, Ondo at 50, when 12 years old, I saw the people who sat together and coined the idea of wanting to have an Ondo State. It's unbelievable. I thank God for that opportunity that has been given to me and to us, the committee members. I want to welcome you to the Sunshine State, a state of excellence. You know, we have a lot of amazing people who definitely will be honored tomorrow. Academicians, leaders in their own field. Some of them are in this hall with us. And the elder sage who are, you know, in their late 80s, 90s, who are still alive with us, who continue to pray for the growth of Ondo State. We pray that your visit to Ondo State will be a smooth and safe one. We want you to sit back and enjoy the lecture. Professor Idele is not somebody you can say. I think we are blessed to have him talk to us today. He's widely sought after. And Dr. Ms. Oluvejen as well. These are citizens of Ondo State. They're children of Ondo State. And I know what went into having to get them to this hall. I know that we will sit back, we'll enjoy the lecture, and take one or two things with us as we leave this hall. We pray that in the next 20 years, the next 30 years, the next 40 years, Ondo State will continue to shine as it is the Sunshine State. Please enjoy yourself, sit back, and have a wonderful morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Taiwo Fashionati, Secretary to Government and Chairman Planning Committee. Let me take this moment to welcome former Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Engineer Funshoku Bolokun. Thank you very much for joining us at this event. Thank you. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of course, you already heard that the title of the lecture for today is Ondo State Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. And the man who will be speaking to us is a man who everybody would like to put on the firing line. But when we get to that point, we will understand better. However, Ondo State is known for many things, including our values, our culture, our dance, our food, our decent dress sense, and so many things. I know that, in fact, I was expecting that Dr. Mimiko would come in that Ondo attire to this event today. So, of course, but we're going to give you just one of those very many things now, and that's our dance. Our dance is special. It has won us many awards at home and abroad. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, I invite the cultural troupe to step forward and entertain the hall. Everyone here, I'm sure, will love to dance to the rhythm of their music. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you. mo wí òní lọ́dún rà o àhẹ́. Ọlọ́run lókè mo dúpẹ́ lọ́rẹ́ o mo mọ̀ yín ológo dàbọ̀ mo wí òní lọ́dún rẹ o àhẹ́. Kọ́ba aṣọ́ni lọ́dún rẹ wẹ́ẹ̀mẹ̀ àyàyọ́ ọmọ náà wà bẹ́gbẹ́ rẹ̀ pé o. Your Excellency Dr. orí mi sàn ayédèdà ti gbogbo wa ẹni Ọlọ́run mọ̀ àsìkò rẹ̀ sàn o mi ò lè parọ́ rárá àrọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ o àrọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ lójú ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ lójú gbogbo àwọn kábíyèsí pátá mo mórí balẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ ni à ń ṣọdún 50 kan dá Ondo State sílẹ̀ o ó ṣojú ẹ̀mí kétera mo wí òní lọ́dún rà o ayé. mo wí òní lọ́dún rà ayé. Kọ́ba aṣọ́ni lọ́dún rà mí àyàyọ́ ọmọ náà máa bẹ́gbẹ̀rẹ̀ mi pé o. Your Excellency mo bọ́ dúpẹ́ o lóòlódùmarè ọba kò dá ọ ọba kò mọ̀ ọ́ ju bó ṣe wà àtọ́rí ọ̀rìn ní kẹ́mẹ̀sùn ọ̀ṣẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́ o mo dúpẹ́ o ṣe o ìgbà rẹ àsìkò rẹ àmọ́ sí rere àmọ́ sí dáadáa. Mo tún dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ládéládé fún ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú Excellency mi o. Odidi ọmọ màrẹ́ o odidi ọmọ o ayé wa wò ó odidi ọmọ Excellency. Torí wípé ó jẹ́ gómìnà dáadáa sí wa. Gómìnà dáadáa ni gómìnà wa gómìnà dáadáa láyé dàtí wa ó ń ṣe wá dáadáa ó ń hùwà dáadáa sí wa gómìnà dáadáa lórí mi sàn ó. Ọlọ́run ó dá mi lójú odidi ọmọ màrẹ́ o odidi ọmọ ẹni tí ó bá mọ̀ o kó wá wò ó. Ẹ̀tọ́ wa gbogbo ló ń fún wa ní déédéé kò fìyà jẹ wá owó oṣù wa ó ń lọ déédéé odidi ọmọ màrẹ́ o odidi ọmọ aráyé wa wò ó ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ mi. Excellency agbára ni wàá dá o wẹ́ẹ̀ kú lọ́mọdé wẹ́ẹ̀ kú lọ́mọdé agbanájídà lójúlé ò bá rẹ̀ kèrèkèrè ló lójó bẹ́ẹ̀ nílẹ̀ kò dìde bá mi agbalọ́mọ àdá o mẹ́múlẹ́ mi mẹ́sọ̀ lẹ́sùlẹ̀ o gbogbo ọmọ Ondo State àmọ́ òkú ọdún o ẹ̀mí wa ṣe púpọ̀ o ojú òní kàtúrí o ẹ̀mí wa gùn láyé bó ṣe mọ̀ dúpẹ́ gbogbo ọba ládéládé ẹ pẹ́ lórí àpèrè o adé ẹ pẹ́ lórí. Máa dàgbà lágbà o.
Ẹ bá mi fún wọn látẹ̀wọ́. Ẹ bá mi fún wọn látẹ̀wọ́. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for this beautiful, beautiful cultural group. I mean, I almost wanted to remove my shoes and start dancing. But when I saw that the governor, you would have joined me, right? I saw it in your body language. Like I felt like you were about to join me. But you know, we have to comport ourselves because our governors, our deputy governor, our former governors are well seated. Only one robot, you know, they were enjoying it on their seats. So since they are polished and everybody is well put together, we have to pretend that we are still well put together. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Oluwatomi Singh, and I'll be co-anchoring this morning. It's still morning here. It's still morning. We should assume so. Ondo State was established about 50 years ago. As a matter of fact, tomorrow will make it exactly 50 years. And I joked with one of our colleagues earlier today, and I said, our bros, in fact, the child that we birthed after we were created, they are old now. But now, absolutely, they are still our child. So should I dare ask the question, those who naturalized from the child and became, you are one of them.
Don't let me allow you learn. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ondo State is 50, and it has pleased God to put someone in the saddle to breast the tape exactly of 50 years. The most important part of this celebration is that he will be laying the foundation for another 50 years. When it's 100 years, some of us will still be here. Some of us may not be here anymore. But irrespective of whether you are here or you are not, I know that you wish Ondo State well in advance. It's also important that the new foundation that will be laid, of course, building on the former foundation, now the first level of the superstructure, must be properly laid. And we see very sincerely that the foundation for that superstructure is already being very well laid. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the man who it has pleased God to hand over the instrument for laying the new foundation for the next 50 years for Ondo State is in the building. Let's put our hands together for God. If you're doing it for God, do it better. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, what does the man have in stock for us? How well is he prepared to lay the foundation for the next 50 years? Only him can tell us that. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished, give me the honor and privilege to invite to the microphone His Excellency, the Governor of our dear state, the Governor of the Sunshine State, His Excellency, Dr. Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa. Your Excellency, let's put our hands together for this man of great destiny, for this man of great purpose, a man of great a celebrity by all standards, a man who knows what to do per time, a man who has the oil of grace on his head. Your Excellency, thank you very much for the great works you are doing already to lay a new foundation for our state. Thank you.
Let us be seated. Thank you. Thank you, the award-winning Ondo State. Let me first of all give thanks to Almighty God who has made for his mercy to keep us alive to witness this day, and also in health and in strength. Some might be alive without strength and not in good health. But our story is not like that. That is why we're able to sit here today, to have traveled from far and wide to be here. To God alone be all the glory. I say good afternoon to everyone that has come. I appreciate your coming. Thank you for the sacrifices you have made to be here. Everyone, for you to be part of this gathering this afternoon means you are all very, very important, and you are filled with high spirit of celebration of being part of this 50th anniversary of Ondo State. I could imagine a night just before that declaration, just like today, 2nd of February, 50 years ago, about 50 years ago now, the kind of engagement that will be going on in the Supreme Military Council, the discussion, how many states should we create? What are the states? And those who have been agitating also, waiting that we have sent in our papers, our positions. And on that day, the 3rd of February, when the announcement was made by the then head of state, General Muritala Ramat Mohammed, I could imagine the celebration in Ondo State. Among the founders, those who have put that paper together, that Ondo State must be given that opportunity to govern themselves as a subnational so that government can be brought closer to the people. So, we are here to celebrate the same, but today, as one of the programs of our event, the public lecture, which is titled Ondo State, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. We have seen what the past leaders have done, and what we are doing right now, being at the saddle, and what we have also envisioned, what we want to see, the foundations we want to lay. But before I go into that, let me just greet some of our important guests. All of you are important, like I said, because I might not be able to acknowledge every one of you individually by your name and your positions that you occupy. But just take the first greeting of welcoming everybody as a special greeting, a special warm welcome to all of us. I acknowledge the presence of my wife, the wife of the governor of Ondo State, Her Excellency Esther Oluwaseun Anike-Ade Ayedatiwa. My amiable deputy qualified from the city to be my deputy at a time like this, His Excellency Dr. Olaide Owolabi Adelami MNI. And his amiable wife, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Abosede Olubukola Adelami. You are recognized. Sitting here in our midst is one of the leaders, not just leaders, a former governor who labored for 8 years to add to the development of this state, from those who have also labored before him. He was the one who has the highest period in governing this state for 8 years, a former commissioner at one time or the other. If you want to mention or do a list of the individuals who have served this state most in different capacity, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he should be the one. As commissioner, secretary to the state government, at the one-time minister of the Federal Republic, and later became the governor of Ondo State, two-time governor, who broke that jinx. His Excellency Dr. Olusegun Ramamimiko. Let me also acknowledge the Speaker of Ondo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olamide Oladiji. Acknowledge your presence. And the Chief Judge of Ondo State, my noble Lord Justice Olusegun Ayedun Odushola. Let me also acknowledge the President Customary Court of Appeal, my noble Lord Justice Eunice Aderunke Alade. Now I would like to acknowledge our chairman event, this public lecture. He was at one time, when you talk of Ondo State yesterday, he was part of it, of Ondo State yesterday. In fact, he was at the time the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of Ondo State. But now he has moved to Ekiti State. I'm talking of no other person than the legal luminary, Chief Oluwole Olanipekun, OFR, CFR, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you very much for being here to preside over of this program. I would also like to the guest lecturer, who is also son of the soil from Ikara Makoko. Professor Taiwo Yedele, Chairman, Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform. Thank you for accepting to be here to give us lecture. Ondo State today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You will help us a lot, especially now that everybody is being worried what is going to happen. We are already we've gone into the year. Tax reform. Some of them don't even. Maybe the course of your teaching, you might touch some area, because if you talk of today and tomorrow, tax is very, very significant. Let me also acknowledge Speaker, who is also a daughter of the soil here from Akure, Mrs. Oluarolu Vejen, Special Advisor to the President on Energy. You are welcome. Thank you for choosing to be here as well. You know, Ondo State is one of the oil-producing states in Nigeria, tapped at all, and here we have one of our own, you know, a professional in that now and tomorrow. That petrodollar, energy money, in power, in every aspect that has to do with energy, she will be here to also prepare for that, or to build foundation for tomorrow. The Secretary to the State Government acknowledge your presence, Dr. Taiwo Olumide Fasoranti. The caretaker chairman of our party, All Progressive Congress, Engineer Adetime, thank you for being here, for joining us. The Chief of Staff, Prince Shegun Mojua, the Head of Service, Mr. Bayo Phillips. Let me also greet all former deputy governors who have also served at one time, maybe as acting governor, and they have contributed their own quota. Otumba Molade Oluwateru, former deputy governor, I acknowledge your presence. Alhaji Lasisi Oluboyo, I also acknowledge your presence. All members of Ondo State Executive Council, all members of the House of Representatives representing the different constituency of Ondo State. Let me use my friend and my brother, representing the good people of Owanose, Honorable Timile Adelegbe, as a point of contact to all of you, and the representative of Idonre, Ifedore, Honorable Festus Akingbaso. You are welcome. Deputy Speaker, Ondo State House of Assembly, and all members of Ondo State House of Assembly that are here, all council chairmen, I acknowledge all of you, the third tier of government. Let me also acknowledge all our KBCs. Using the chairman, Ondo State Council of Obas, His Imperial Majesty Oba Jibade Gbade Gesin Ogunye the third, the Olowo of our KBCO, and our traditional ruler, the host stool, the Deji of Akure. I recognize you, and all other KBCs from the various senatorial districts that are here. All our party leaders, using Ambassador Olushola as a point of contact to all of you. I can't mention all of your names one after the other. I would like to also acknowledge one of the voices that led to the creation of Ondo State. From history, I read when there's this Ondo province group that has Mr. Adeguru as the secretary from here, but he was the PRO of that committee, three of them. And when they have their first meeting at Omolere Primary School, Nursery and Primary School, I'm talking of no other person than Bashorun Shende Arogbofa. I recognize you specially. Thank you for joining us. I thought you would wait till the gala and award night before we see you. But you are very mobile, even though age is there, but you are still very healthy. Thank you. And you are here to celebrate 50 years after that struggle that led to the creation of Ondo State. Let me also acknowledge our religious leaders, using the chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Very Reverend Asem Ologunwa, as a point of contact to all our religious leaders. The labor leaders, acknowledge every one of you, all board chairmen, agencies and parastatals that are here, acknowledge all of you. The permanent secretaries, directors, all citizens of Ondo State. Now let me use former Managing Director of NNPC, Mr. Funshoku Poluku, as a point of contact to all Ondo State indigents that are here. Those are in this hall and those in diaspora that might be watching us live wherever they acknowledge all of you. And I say happy celebration of 50 years of the creation of our state. I'm so delighted to be here as the governor of Ondo State at this time. Like I said, during the night of praise and during the Thanksgiving on the Sunday, yesterday at St. Thomas's Anglican Church, that this celebration means a lot to me, because About 50 years, 1976 was when I completed my primary school education. About 11 years old, in one rural community. I doubt if it was on the map of Ondo State at that time, the then map, until crude oil was found in that community. Now it's on the map. You know, Google Map has picked every location now. Then it was not Google. There was no Google Map. Obenla, Ilaje local government area of Ondo State. That was where I was born, grew up on water. No vehicle, no motor, no car. We only see it in our books that they use in teaching us. You know, the new Oxford English. Ours was 3rd edition. I don't know the edition you read. B2 is sitting on a box. She's making a fire. Mr. Giwa is a trader. So we see the picture of car, you know, bus, car. We don't see any by sight. For 11 years, this young man standing before your governor never saw anything called car. Until that 1976, I also started a journey on boat for 2 nights to Lagos. No extra clothes, no shoe on, no box. Yes, it's true. But landed there, it was then when we go to, and when we go to Langbas, a wide, you know, big ocean. I'm used to water, so, and then we battered at Enowa, no 3rd Milan Bridge at that time. So, and I came down with my elder brother, and it was a journey, 1976, so I could reflect and I begin to track. Same year Ondo State was created, same year I also left. I was taken out to be educated, to be developed, to be nurtured, and later come back to the state, and I'm here 50 years after. So I'm also celebrating my journey, 50 years journey. It's a time of celebration for me, honestly. So it gives me profound pleasure and indeed a deep sense of responsibility to warmly welcome you all to this highly significant public lecture titled Ondo State. Yesterday, I was part of that yesterday, even though I was not residing here then. Today, now I'm here at the saddle. And tomorrow, I don't know how many years that tomorrow will be. Next 20 years, I will be here. When Ondo will be 70, if you add that 20 to my 61, I'll be 81. By reason of grace, God has promised us that now. Come on. But when Ondo will be 80, 90, 100, you're talking about the next 50 years, where we'll lay the foundation. Those that will be here at that time, you can be telling the story. Ondo State yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We want to lay that foundation for tomorrow, starting from today. And that is why we have brought this erudite scholar from the chairman, the keynote speaker, and the guest lecturer. Yes, the chairman died. He won't be here in 50 years. Me, I can bet for that. It's only anyone that has the spirit of Methuselah that can be part of that. Or maybe Grace of Moses 120. He might be here. You never can tell. But Professor Taiwo and Olu will be here. So what we are going to say today, wait to see it happening in the next 50 years. This lecture forms a central part of the activities marking the Golden Jubilee of the creation of Ondo State, a moment that invites reflection, gratitude, and renewed commitment to our collective future. Today's gathering is far more than ceremonial. It is intellectual, reflective, and visionary. It represents a conscious pause in our journey as a people, an opportunity to take stock of where we are coming from, to interrogate our present realities with honesty, and to deliberately shape with desire for generations yet unborn. Permit me at the outset to specially acknowledge and warmly welcome Chief Oluwole Olanipekun, SAN, our distinguished chairman of this public lecture, one of Nigeria's most distinguished legal minds and a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. His career exemplifies intellectual rigor, professional excellence, and an enduring commitment to justice, the rule of law, qualities that fittingly anchor this reflective engagement with Ondo State past, present, and future. Now, Mrs. Olu Arolu Vejen, Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on energy, our keynote speaker, is a respected energy economist and policy expert with extensive experience in energy markets, power sector reform, and sustainable development. Her contribution to this lecture will underscore the central role of sound energy, policy, and strategic thinking in shaping economic growth and long-term development. And we need that if we're talking of Ondo State today and tomorrow. I want to thank you for coming. Permit me also to formally welcome again and to thank our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, FCA, an eminent son of Ondo State, who is the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. Professor Oyedele is a nationally respected thought leader in fiscal governance, public finance, and economic reform. His work at the intersection of taxation, public policy, and sustainable development continues to shape critical national conversation on how Nigeria can build a fairer, more efficient, and growth-oriented fiscal architecture. At a moment like this, when Ondo State is reflecting deeply on its developmental trajectory and economic future, the insights of both speakers are not only timely, but profoundly relevant. They will spark ideas that will shape our tomorrow. We are truly honored that he has chosen to share his intellect, experience, and vision with us on this historical occasion. Your Excellencies, Kabiyesi's, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 50 years is not merely a number. It is both a milestone and a mirror through which we examine our collective choices, sacrifices, and outcomes. A milestone that challenges us to rise to the responsibility of shaping the next era with wisdom and courage. It is worth recalling that Ondo State was created in 1976 at a defining moment in Nigeria's administrative and political evolution, with a clear mandate, which is to bring governance closer to the people, to unlock development potential, and to nurture human capital anchored on strong values. Our founding fathers understood that development does not happen by accident. It must be deliberate and intentional. It requires vision, sacrifice, and strong institutions. Historically, Ondo State emerged as a center of agrarian productivity, trade, and artisanal enterprises. Cocoa, oil palm, timber, fishing, and commerce formed the backbone of the economy, while communal labor and social solidarity sustained livelihoods and strengthened social bonds. Beyond economics, our people were shaped by enduring values, which are integrity, diligence, respect for authority, communal responsibility, and moral restraint. These values became the invisible foundation upon which social order and governance rested. Education, even in those early years, was recognized as the most powerful tool of transformation. Mission schools, teacher training colleges, and community-driven learning centers produce generations of professionals, administrators, scholars, and leaders who served not only Ondo State, but Nigeria and the global community with distinction. 50 years on, Ondo State stands transformed, not without challenges, but with remarkable progress and renewed confidence. Our economy is steadily transitioning from primary production to value addition and industrial processing. Flagship initiatives such as the Sunshine Free Trade Zone, the Golden Ceramics Industrial Plant, and the ethanol and methanol plant in Ore, the Ondo Deep Sea Port, refinery to produce 500,000 barrels per day, and others underscore our commitment to job creation, investors' confidence, and industrial diversification. Tourism is also being deliberately repositioned as a growth driver through the development of our coastline, ecotourism assets, and the rich cultural heritage, creating new opportunities for local enterprise and community participation. We continue to invest deliberately in education, skills acquisition, and youth empowerment, fully recognizing that human capital remains our most strategic asset. Scholarships, vocational training programs, digital literacy initiatives, and innovation hubs are being deployed to prepare our young people for an increasingly competitive global economy. In the area of infrastructure and connectivity, strategic investment in roads, bridges, transport corridors, energy, and water infrastructure, including the new Oyarugulem-Irese Bridge, are enhancing mobility, trade, and social integration across both urban and rural community. Our hitherto narrow, or if you like, single-lane roads are being dualized for ease of movement and free flow of traffic. The story of Ondo State will be incomplete without its people. both at home and in diaspora. Development is not the exclusive responsibility of government. It is collective and collaborative. Our citizens must continue to contribute through entrepreneurship, innovation, community service, and civic engagement, while our diaspora should bring invaluable skills, capital networks, and global perspectives. Engaging the Ondo diaspora is therefore not optional. It is strategic and imperative for accelerated development, knowledge transfer, and global competitiveness. As we look ahead to the next 30, 40, 50 years, our vision is bold, inclusive, and ethically anchored. We envision an Ondo state where economic prosperity is broad-based and sustainable, where education produces innovators, ethical leaders, and problem solvers, where infrastructure supports growth, inclusion, and environmental stewardship, where governance remains responsive, transparent, and accountable, and where social cohesion is strengthened by shared values and civic pride. This future will be driven by economic diversification, technology and innovation, human capital development, and strong institutions being some of the thematic areas that our distinguished guest lecturers and keynote speaker is to illuminate. It is therefore our expectation that this public lecture will transcend academic discourse. It must inspire action, partnership, and accountability. Together, we must harness our natural and human resources responsibly, invest deliberately in our youth, preserve our moral and cultural foundations, and build enduring partnerships across government, the private sector, civil society, and global community. Finally, Ondo State at 50 stands as a testament to vision, resilience, and shared sacrifice. Yesterday offers lessons. Today demands diligence. Tomorrow calls for courage and imagination. As we reflect, learn, and plan, we hope that this lecture will ignite knowledge-based policymaking, strategic investment, and ethical leadership, so that the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years will surpass the last impact, equity, and inclusiveness. Once again, I welcome you all and sincerely thank our illustrious chairman, keynote speaker, and the distinguished guest lecturer, and the audience, all of you, and those who are watching live, for honoring us with your presence. May God bless Ondo State. May God bless its people and institutions. And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
The chairman of the public lecture. It gives me great joy and delight. I'm so privileged to read out the 2022. He was the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and in 2003, he was appointed the vice president of the Pan-African Lawyers Union. In January 2007, he became a life bencher appointed by the Nigerian body of benchers. He is a legal luminary with a penchant for integrity and professional excellence. His legal practice cuts across diverse areas of law. He is the current Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Lagos. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a warm applause this afternoon, join me to welcome Chief Oluwole Olanipekun, OFR, CFR, SAN, as he delivers the opening remark as the chairman of Ondo at 50's public lecture. Let's keep clapping for this legend.
Of not recognizing my brother and friend, Dr. Olusegun Abayomi Mimiko. There's something mystical about him. And I want you, my governor, to tap from him. Of all the civilian governors of Ondo State, he is the only one living. It is by grace. God is with him. And I think he's the only one. I think somebody else mentioned it. We served together as commissioners in the administration of Governor Olumilua. He was commissioner for health. He came back to serve as commissioner for health in the administration of Governor Adeforati. Then after, as secretary of government in the administration of Governor Agagu. Thereafter, as minister of housing under Obasanjo. Thereafter, as governor 2 terms. They call him Iroko, but I would say that he is a living legend. I have so many people who are here this afternoon, but you have been duly recognized. But I cannot also but mention my Egbon, Chief Sinde Arugbofa. Please, are you here? Take a bow. This is the essence of this gathering. And Kabiyesi mo ki ori ade. Now, I want to appreciate my Lord, that's my constituency, the Chief Judge of Ondo State. I pay my respect. The President of the Customary Court of Appeal, I pay my respect. And all the lordships who are here. I would not know whether Justice Adebusoye is around, because I said something about you in my remarks. You know, I will always come to you because we are together at the Ministry of Justice. So I want to appreciate Mr. Governor for this opportunity afforded me to share this occasion. I do not take it for granted. And I wouldn't know, I would not say that it's been accidental. Perhaps it has been deliberate on your part. You've been a gentleman after my heart since the time you were deputy governor. And we thank God for a time like this, that you are here at 50, we are celebrating 50, and somebody is here as governor. We human beings don't appreciate at times what God does. He moves in very mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. Why a Lucky, who was there, born 11 years as at the time Ondo State was created, and now sitting here as governor, as the sheriff, when we are celebrating 50 years. It's also not accidental. And God is also giving you a charge that when you take the first step of faith in the journey to the next 50 years, look unto him as the author and finisher of your journey. Because not by you knowing everything that you are here. It's been written that once has God spoken, twice have we heard that all powers belongeth unto him. So it is God's choice, deliberate, intentional, not accidental, that is made you the governor now. I'm not going to preempt what my Aburo, the very erudite scholar, is going to say about it in his lecture. But then, when we are talking of 50 years, a lot of us don't bother about our history. We don't bother about our yesterday. So, that's why let me put a word or two down, maybe to reawaken our recollection. Yesterday to say, oh, was Ondo State, did it come as an accident? There is nothing accidental. And the letter written to me by my Aburo, Dr. Fashionati, who said, you gave some reasons in your paragraph 4, where you have chosen me, where you have invited me to be here. And by that token, let me say a word. I don't want to be just here as a ceremonial chairman, but I won't inch into the place of the guest speaker. I will not at all. I won't encroach into your space. Perhaps what I will say even might be of benefit to you. Now, I say we should honor the pathfinders and patrons who are the architects of the state creation. There was a movement chaired by Chief Gilbert, Benjamin Akinyemi Akinyede, CON, a quintessential legal practitioner from Ode Ekiti, who served as chairman of the movement. I refer to Prince Deji Adogoroye, my uncle from Ikere, the senior brother of Governor Olumilua. They came from the same womb, but not from the same father. Olumilua Adegoroye was born in Akure, a prince of Akure, a legal practitioner, very astute one. Olumilua was born in Ikere. There is this my Egbon, Sende Arugofa, a consummate interventionist who served as publicity secretary. Other notable members of the movement were the renowned and highly respected educationist, our Papa, Ruben Fashionati, the seasoned politician, celebrated administrator, Chief G.A. Akindeko from Idori, the first Nigerian registrar of the University of Ibadan, who later became a legal practitioner, Nathaniel Adamalekun, first-class indigenous industrialist, Chief Olufumilayo Julius Anishulowo from Marekiti, and several other eminent Nigerians. Mr. Governor, the essence of digging into the archives for the names of these heroic leaders is for us to honor and celebrate them contemporaneously within the ambience of this Golden Jubilee, but without their very gallant efforts and signal sacrifices, Ondo State would not have come into being. Drawing impetus for the 5th and 6th lines of the first stanza of our former national anthem, we must ensure that the struggles and labors of these past and present heroes of ours, be they from the present day Ondo State or Ekiti State, are never rendered in vain. This, to my mind, is the core essence of history, the deliberate chronicling and preservation of efforts, of exploits, of deeds, of feats, of performances, sacrifices, legacies, heritage, achievements, attainments, landmarks, and milestones, through which a people define their journey, secure their identity, and transit values across generations. Those of us who are Christians, if there were no writings, we won't be talking of Patriarch Abraham, of Isaac and Jacob. By extension, we are talking of those who struggled, who led the struggle for the creation of this state. I wouldn't know what type of honor you want to give them tomorrow, but it's important that we remember them in our collective, in our psyche, and we also pray for them. Let our children know how the state movement came into being and how the struggle festered and how it materialized. The governor said he was in a primary school. We were in the law school then, February 1976. We were migrating from the western state and then to Ondo State. We congratulate ourselves and we say, glory be to God. Now, before I'm done, there's the need for us, for me, to say a word of how Ondo State became or joined the Oil League, the League of Oil Producing States. You see, the Yoruba man will say that anybody fe paro ani eleri ohun ti ku alo ti wa lorun. I was asking for the Honorable Justice Adebusoye whether he was here. And Ojuku, in his autobiography, said, because I am involved. Mine, I'm talking here on this podium because I was involved. And I have a witness, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, who was also involved. How did Ondo State become an oil-producing state? There is one governor, I'm not saying there was, I'm using present continuous, who served this state, who we are not saying much about, and that's Governor Bamidele Olumilua. I served under him. Mimiko served under him. He had a lot of passion for Ondo State. Shagun, you remember, he would say, this is our own Canaan. This is our own land. And immediately he assumed office as governor of Ondo State. He said he will make sure that Ondo State was listed as an oil-producing state. He gave me a charge. He gave Agagu a charge. He gave Mimiko a charge. He said, go and look for all the data. And he said, Wale, I pleaded with you to come and be my attorney general. I was already an SAA. I was trying to make some money. And he said, please come and serve. And we said, we will serve you, sir. Agagu and Co, Mimiko and Co, they look for all the data. They brought them to my table at the Ministry of Justice. Ajagun Kamalafe was my PAMSEC. Adebusoye was my PA. I thank God for you. And you learned that because you are now a senior judge in Ondo State. You deserve it. We put hands together. We drafted the Umpada decree. We drafted it in Akure here at the Secretariat. And I want so for those of us who are Yorubas, so that we can learn a lesson or two. I went to Abuja. I met Akpango, the Attorney General of the Federation. I was one of his closest friends. He was before then president of the NBA. He was the first senior SAN who advised me to take the silk. He said, don't mind your age, but mind your intellect. May God bless his soul. I said, sir, my state is oil rich. These are the documents. Very, very certain that we are there. Don't write us off. He said, Wally, we know that. Go and prepare an amendment to the Umpada decree. But in doing so, add Abia and Imo. We are talking about our own Yoruba land. Akpabio was from Anambra State. Assuming, let's now contextualize it. Assuming he was a Yoruba man from Ibadan or from Ogun, will he say, add Ondo and Ekiti? We are so selfish in Yoruba land. We have to love ourselves. And those of our friends who are from Imo and Abia, it was that at that table in the Ministry of Justice that we handed Imo and Abia on the instruction of Akpabio from Anambra State, an Igbo man. And I asked him, I said, Akpango, My Ebon, Imo and Abia are landlocked. He said, Wally, whether they are landlord or not, put them there. Otherwise, Ondo State will not become an oil-producing state. Now we came back. The edict or the decree was put in place. I accompanied my governor to the Council of State meeting. He presented the decree. Akpango said, the Ondo State Attorney General prepared the edict. Let him come to me. Let him please talk to it. I sat next to Babangida, analyzed the decree, the aims and objectives. He said, look, Wale, just stop. Then he called Dele. He said, Olumilua, your state has become an oil-producing state. That was it. That is the story. No embellishment. I was there. We prepared it. Adebusoye is still here. Mimiko is still here. But it didn't end there. Babangida stepped aside suddenly in August 1993. As at that time, we were there on paper, but it had not been actualized. Then there was the Shonekan interim government. It was treated as a pariah by every state in the western zone. Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun. Then we had an ESCO meeting. Mimiko, you were one of the hawks. I said, what are we going to decide? We wanted a pronouncement that Ondo State is now an oil-producing state and that we should be drawing from the funds. It was Shoneka alone who could do that. Those who didn't know, that was the reason why a delegation was sent to Abuja. Go and meet with Shoneka. Nobody wanted you. But Ondo State will allow you a bathing right here in Akure, provided you will come to Akure. You will make an open declaration that henceforth and as from today, Ondo State will be deriving funds from the federal government as an oil-producing state. Shoneka said, if that is your condition, that's a small thing for me. Will you allow me to come to Akure? We said, we'll allow you. Do your speech. We'll do our own speech. He said, we should write for him. We prepared a speech for him. We sent it to him. He accepted it. Gentlemen, we are talking of 50 years. And the government is talking of oil producing. Thank God we are. We are revealing to you, just as you have Revelation, the book of Revelation. That's what we are revealing. Though I'm not in any island. I'm here now. I'm not in Patmos. But here I'm harmed at the dome. And Shonekan came, I think, very near the Urban's Palace. He announced publicly that Ondo State, you have not only become an oil-producing state, but have now given instruction that henceforth they should be inviting you to the oil-producing state meetings, and then you'll be drawing whatever is due to you. So at the subsequent meeting in Port Harcourt, we didn't have a committee then. Governor said I should go and represent Ondo State. First 500,000 bank draft, I brought it from Port Harcourt to Akure. That's the history. And so when we are also celebrating, let us remember that governor, Olumilua, who brought it about. Even if that was the only thing we can trace to him, it's huge, it's very unique. Now, Mr. Governor, I'm rounding up. I want to thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Name, find noble and enduring expression within the nooks and crannies of the state. Can we say amen? And that will be done in and after your tenure. Mr. Governor, the true meaning of your surname, Ayedatiwa, I want to try to translate it. To me, it means, it means shared prosperity. Without summon abundance, it was created, went to Lagos. So, let us, the first saying of Shakespeare saying that some were born great. You were born as a noble man. not in the greatness Shakespeare was talking of, not with the proverbial silver spoon, but you went to Lagos, you sojourned to Lagos. Through there, dint of hard work, you attained greatness by yourself. Now, by the collective wisdom of our people in Ondo State, let's think.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think you need to double that applause. I think you need to double that applause. That was not just inspiring, it was thought-provoking, and it definitely set the tone for this public lecture. Congratulations, Mr. Governor. Please, let's have our seat. Miss Olubukola Arowolo-Vaheyen is the Special Advisor on Energy to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where she leads the design and execution of policy work stream of the Presidential Power Sector Debt Reduction Public Lecture. Miss Olu.
First Lady, wife of Deputy Governor, former Governor, Governor Echi, Governor Mimiko, Dr. Taiwo Fashionroti, Mr. Ajulo, the chairman of this occasion, the guest lecturer, and to my constituency, Engineer Funshoku Poloku, former GMD of NNPC, the Royal Fathers, thank you. 50 years ago, on this soil, a dream took root. And on the 3rd of February, 1976, the same year I was born, the old Western state was transformed into 3 brand new states, one of which was named Ondo, after the existing province of the same name. The 18,165 square kilometers of land carried the hopes and aspirations of 2.7 million people, blending ethnicity, language, religion, and geography, stretching from the shores of the Atlantic northwards into the rainforest, and taking pride in being the place where Yoruba land meets the Benin Kingdom. And we blend into an endearing cultural spectacle. I'm a Donekwe, so I needed to do that. Heritage, Ondo State is a land of great kingdoms. From Akure to Ondo to Owo to Ilaje to Ikale and many more. These kingdoms are eternal heritage, dating back centuries. Long before Ondo State existed in name, our ancestors walked and framed and farmed this blessed land, crowned monarchs, built formidable kingdoms, and raised generations of great people. Today and always, we celebrate that history, our roots, and our strength. We celebrate the founding leaders, the icons of Ondo State, 18 leaders across these 50 years, 11 military administrators, and 7 civilian governors, including the incumbent. Very importantly, we celebrate the people who built this state. The millions of farmers, teachers, artisans, entrepreneurs, civil servants across this state and in the diaspora. The everyday heroes of Ondo State, whose toil and sweat forged a thriving landscape out of very modest beginnings. Many embarked on a homecoming journey from across the Western state and beyond, excited by the chance to build a homeland of their own. They built a public service, they built infrastructure, homes, families, and pursued dreams of individual and collective greatness. I'm a proud daughter of Ondo State. From a family deeply shaped by public service across generations, a tradition that mirrors the quiet sacrifice and commitment to state, and to community that defines so many families across our state. I grew up in the old Ondo state, in a time when our boundaries were much wider and our sense of belonging was seamless. When a child could spend a week moving between Akure and Ado-Ekiti and feel equally at home in both places. So I therefore acknowledge our shared history with our brothers and sisters in Ekiti State. Not as distant neighbors, but as siblings, as family shaped by roads, shared schools, shared markets, shared memories, a common heritage that continues to bind us in culture, values, memory, before and after our paths formally diverged in 1996. And what is this Ondo State heritage that I speak of? It is our Omoluabi ethic, embodying hard work, integrity, hospitality, creativity, community, and intellectualism. A people who value education, knowledge, and progress, who know the value of home and live in harmony with the rocks, the trees, the hills that dot our landscape. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like Nigeria, agriculture and oil collectively generate the bulk of Ondo State's gross domestic product as a state. We're the link between the southwest and the south-south geopolitical zones of Nigeria, straddling both not just geographically, but also culturally, bringing together of Yoruba, Ijaw, and Edo origins, united as Ondo people, while retaining the traditions that confer uniqueness upon us. Ondo State has always been ambitious and desirous of progress. Nigeria's Sunshine State, in reference to the climate, but to meaning. Sunshine represents warmth, energy, life, positivity, and hope. Like the sun and its array of invisible light, Ondo State underpins Nigeria's agricultural and industrial existence. Our vast cocoa fields, Road, the Futa Teaching Hospital in Akure, the Federal Teaching Hospital in Akure, the Ondo State Seaport in Araromi. And just last month, the governor received the port's revalidated license. Our cocoa, our timber, our palm oil, our bitumen must not continue to leave Ondo State in its raw form. Value addition, whether that's in chocolate, furniture, processed palm derivatives, petroleum products, and petrochemicals, is how we're going to create jobs, generate revenue, and secure dignity for our people. In my role, I am helping to drive the reforms that are restoring Nigeria's competitiveness, that will attract the capital, not just for its own sake, but that capital leads to the creation of jobs, that it deepens our industrial activity, that it raises incomes for our people, and helps improve the everyday lives. Ondo State, with its gas infrastructure running through it, the revival of Odigbo power plants, modular LNG projects underway, is uniquely positioned to become an energy and an industrial hub. There's simply no reason that Ondo State should know darkness or interruptions at major events like this, and we will fix it. You have our pledge on that. As we mark 50 years of Ondo State, anniversaries must be moments of recommitment. The story of Ondo State is not finished. In truth, it is only entering its most consequential chapter. The generation before us gave us land, all derivation status, institutions, and identity. Our responsibility is to give opportunity, dignity, and a future that our children do not need.
London School of Economics, Yale University, Gordon Institute of Business Science, and Harvard Kennedy School. Oyedele's career spans several key roles in both the private and public sectors. Professor Oyedele is a professor of Babcock University, adjunct faculty at the University of Lagos, and a visiting scholar at the Lagos Business School. He is the founder of Impact Africa Foundation, a non-profit organization focused on social impact and youth empowerment. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, Nigeria Leadership Initiative, and a member of the Global Governing Council of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, a member of the Global Tax Forum and Harvard Business Review Advisory Council. His work on regional policy includes serving as the chairman of the West Africa Union of Tax Institutes, high-level think tank on the ECOWAS integration project. He is also the thematic lead for the Fiscal Policy and Planning Commission and chairman of the West Africa Debt Management Roundtable under the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. He currently serves as the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms in Nigeria, as appointed by His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Please welcome to the Ondo State at 50 public lecture, Professor Taiwo Oyedele. Let's keep clapping for.
Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. All courtesies are duly extended. But if you also permit me, I'd like to especially recognize my Kabiesi, the Akala of Ikaram, Oba Andrew Olamoyi Momodu Osona-Won, that is here today with his delegates, the good people of Ikaramakoko. So good afternoon. I have some slides, and hopefully they're on the screen to give you some idea of where we are going with this, because it's a very special day. In fact, extraordinarily special. 50 years ago, that's half a century. This period transcends a mere timeline. It's a tapestry woven with monumental achievements, but threads of struggle with collective sacrifice, but unyielding and resilient spirit of the great people of Ondo State. So we are here to celebrate not just time, but 50 years, a collective destiny and direction. Where are we heading in the next 50 years. So let me start by doing a reflection about engineers and public servants who served Nigeria and the world with distinction. The legacy of our forefathers, especially free education policy, lives on in the intellectual DNA of every Ondo State today. Let me tell you a bit more about this legacy of distinction. For 5 decades, Ondo State has been a fertile ground for national excellence, with unwavering distinction across all fields of human endeavor, exporting its finest to shape the political, legal, economic, and cultural landscape of Nigeria and even beyond. This profound influence is etched in the lives of figures like the first civilian governor of the state, Chief Michael Adekunle Ajasin, and his successors, including Chief Adebayo Adefarati, who were pillars of the progressive movements. In the judiciary, legal titans, including the share of this event today, and those like the human rights activists, Gani Fawehinmi, SAN. As a proud son of Ondo State from Ikaramu Akoko, I recall a moment that cemented my belief in our collective spirit. It was 500 Naira scholarship from my village association 35 years ago. That modest sum helped me register for my final secondary school examination. Without it, it is unlikely that I will be speaking to you today. This anecdote underscores a powerful truth. Our strength lies in our community, our willingness to lift each other up, Idore, and the vast, globally significant bitumen reserves, considered as the second largest in the world. We can confidently assert that we are God's favorites amongst equals. Over the past 50 years, Ondo State has witnessed and spearheaded tremendous transformation, setting standard for good governance and human development. Let me give you some examples. When it comes to education and human capital, we have the knowledge advantage. Our commitment to education has been a sacred covenant, moving beyond mere access to unwavering focus on quality delivery and global competitiveness. We have results for these investments. Ondo State indigenes consistently produce some of the nation's best minds, excelling in national examination, technology, arts, and governance, both locally and globally. Ondo State, in case you don't know, is the state with the least poverty in Nigeria. This is data. This is facts. An undisputable indicator of the state's investment in human capital is our performance on socioeconomic metrics. Despite ranking in the bottom 10 states in terms of budget size, Ondo State emerged as the state with the least percentage of its population living in multidimensional poverty in Nigeria. According to the latest, yes, we should clap for that. According to the latest multidimensional poverty index survey by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, this is not because we are the richest. It is because we care enough to invest in what truly matters to our people: education, health, and most importantly, dignity. There's also development around infrastructure and the economy. We are building a modern economy. Successive administrations have played crucial and strategic roles in building the hard and soft infrastructure necessary for sustained economic growth. From connectivity, we have seen significant improved road networks connecting our agrarian and coastal centers to major market hubs, reducing post-harvest losses and boosting trade. On industrial and resource exploitation, we are now witnessing a focused and deliberate drive towards industrialization built on our inherent competitive advantage. Key among these are the deep sea port projects. This is a game changer, positioning the states as a maritime gateway to West Africa and unlocking immense blue economy potentials. There's bitumen exploration. We are relentlessly pursuing the full and responsible exploitation of our vast bitumen reserves. And there is diversification. Robust activities in aquaculture, timber processing, and large-scale mechanized agriculture are positioning our economy for massive and sustainable non-oil expansion. We have been able to preserve our culture. We remain resilient, and we continue to learn from the past so we can improve on the present and make the future even better. Ondo State is a living testament of rich and vibrant culture. We have successfully leveraged our cultural heritage from Ondo to our festivals, to Igbokoda Water Regatta, and breathtaking natural landmarks, from the pristine beaches of Ilaje to the ancient caves and hills, to promote high-value tourism, creating direct and indirect jobs. But our journey over 50 years has been far from smooth. We have navigated volatile economic downturns, managed complex internal challenges, reimagined Agenda 2076. Some of us may be here, some of us may be no longer here, but let it be that those that will be around will look back and say some people made the investment. Some people invested their intellectual capital, and they have moved us from good to great and great to extraordinary. As we celebrate this Golden Jubilee, the most critical task is to pivot our focus decisively from reflection on the past to a calculated strategic projection into the future. The next 50 years hold a clear imperative for Ondo State to assume its rightful position as a leading sub-national economy in Nigeria and Africa. Our vision for Ondo State Agenda 2076 must be audacious, our plans meticulous, and our execution disciplined and flawless. Let us develop a multi-stakeholder plan focusing on 5 strategic pathways. 5. We have 5 pathways to the next 50 years. Number 1, a productive and diverse economy for sustainable industrialization. The future of Ondo State lies in value creation, and my sister already said that as well in her keynote address, not dependence. We must move decisively beyond primary economic activities and over-reliance of federation allocation through number 1, maximizing the blue economy through the deep sea port, fishing, and related logistics. Solid minerals value chain, establishing an industrial park around bitumen, limestone, and granite extractions. Agro-industrial revolution, shifting from subsistence farming to large-scale, technology-driven processing of cocoa, cassava, and oil palm. We must pivot from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sectors, transforming cocoa to chocolates, establishing refining capacity, and becoming the mining capital of Nigeria. Diversified growth, robust economic growth that aims to grow faster than the national GDP. Ondo State must grow faster than Nigeria. That's how to stamp your greatness without any disputes. We must achieve key sustainable development goals like no hunger, right? And further reduce poverty. We are already number 1 with the least poverty. We must extend that lead. We must never lose that position until there is no one who is poor again in our state. Ultimately, we must move the state from middle power status to a leading state with an upper income economy. We have too many of our people that are still average citizens. We want them to be upper citizens that have the disposable income and the ability to meet not only their basic needs, but also their wants. Technological innovation and digital economy hub is possible. We must leverage our superior intellectual capital to build a future-proof, knowledge-based economy. How about an idea of a Silicon Coast initiative like the Silicon Valley? Positioning Ondo State as the premier hub for technology and innovation in Africa through focused investment in tech incubation centers and digital skills training. We can also lead with innovation, research, and development, leveraging inventions like those by the Federal University of Technology, Akure FUTA, to stimulate more innovation and positioning our citizens to play a leading role in the new global AI-powered world. Digital governance, implementing comprehensive digital solutions, e-government, so that we can do all the business we want to do with Ondo State digitally from the comfort of our home. And investments in broadband infrastructure to improve service delivery, transparency, and internally generated revenue. There's also secure lead in taxpayer rights and protection. And guess what? Under the new tax reform law, we have unlocked the policy impediment to how our young people can find work in the digital economy. Ondo State should leverage on this tax reform for remote job opportunity for our youth in the digital economy. We can have a target of not less than 200,000 young people in Ondo State earning thousands of dollars on a monthly basis without leaving these states within the digital economy. That is something we can make happen. The framework has been provided. There's also the fiscal transparency and direction of governance. Beyond implementing the new Tax Reform Act and the State Tax Harmonization Law, Ondo State can introduce a tax accountability report to be sent annually to every taxpayer in the states and develop a holistic state and fiscal policy framework to guide how we spend our money, how we mobilize revenue, and how we manage debts. The Ondo State Internal Revenue Service we place is our most energetic resource. We need to do for our states. They should tell us how they want to implement our collective plans going forward. That is how you achieve consistency. That is how you build irreversible progress. And that is how you become unstoppable. We must govern for generations. We must govern not just for today, but for generations yet unborn, ensuring stable electricity, reducing poverty further, and creating lasting wealth and prosperity. Lights, inspiration, innovation, and unwavering progress for the entire nation and the continent. Like Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Again, I make a personal commitment. I'm not telling you what to go and do. I'm saying I'll do this with you. As a proud son of Ondo State, I'm offering my support to the government of Ondo State free of charge in working with you to design and implement this transformative fiscal and governance reform. May Ondo State always rise.
With courage, answering the call. Thank you, Ondo State, place of pride and light. When fear ruled the day, you stood to fight. If not for Ondo, where would we be? Who would stand for the soul of Yoruba land free? Thank you, Ondo State, brave and true, 50 years strong. We salute you. From the heart of the people, a vision was born to guard the land we love, both night and morn. You named it Amateka, strength of the land, a shield for the helpless, courage in hand. Not for one state only, not for one tongue, but for all the
Fiscal policy and tax reform. Your delivery was so apt, sir. We are indeed grateful. God bless you. Your Excellencies, all other parts of the protocols are respectfully observed. At this juncture, may I bring back to the microphone the chairman of today's occasion, Chief Wole Olanikwekun, OFR, CFR, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for the review of the lecture. Over to you, sir. Please let's put our hands together once again for Chief Wole Olanikwekun. Chief Wole Olanikwekun will also take the question and answer session.
Your Excellency, may I, on our joint behalf, appreciate our daughter and our son. What they have served us has been so sumptuous. We can't pay them. We can only appreciate them. And the only way we can do this, Mr. Governor, and with your permission, while they remain seated, can we be uprising and give them what they deserve? Clap for them, clap for them, clap for them. Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to summarize. What they have made us to realize this afternoon is that ideas rule the world. Olu, thanks for being a good girl. You were born here. You grew up here. We see the picturesque and the tapestry. Daughter of the soil. Good girl you are representing us well. And my dear professor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and my distinguished friend. Plato said, the time for best effort is when we are young. The time for best effort is when we are young. And when we listen to the distinguished speakers, those of us that are old, we are very proud. Please, can you give them another round? The chairman has said it, now I say it again. But there is one area that was underestimated, Mr. Chairman, sir. And that is the investment in the struggle, the investment of our people in the struggle for the democracy we enjoy today. The investment of our people in the struggle for democracy, that struggle was shared with the current president. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's important to emphasize this because without that struggle, we will not have had democracy. Now we have mentioned Baba Fashionoti, but it is also essential to recognize the struggle of Dr. Akinola Aguda, Chief Gani Fawehimi, Dr. Frederick Fasheun, Gani Adams, Omoyele Sowore. When I was detained in 1995 in Ita Center, I saw the writings of Omoyele Sowore.
So Lucky Orimiso permit me to stand on the original existing protocol. My name is Honorable Funke Kumuyi. I want to point to something which was not mentioned at all during the course of the lecture. Is about because when we are discussing a thing like this, it is normal that as we are discussing our area of strength, that we have made gains. It is also very pertinent when we mentioned our area of weaknesses, so that possible solutions and possible amendments can be made. Concerning a female gender representation in Ondo State, if we have reflection over it, within the past 50 years, it has not been really good, and I think that the leadership of the government and the leadership of the party, they are here now to look at this situation and make a possible adjustment. For instance, from 1979, but I'm going to speak concerning between the 1999 till date, which we've had this democratic era without incursion of the military. Since that time till now, if we are talking about a House of Representatives, we've only gotten just an appearance of a woman in the National Assembly. And at every election year, we have always been producing 12 members to represent us at the National Assembly, 3 senators and 9 House of Rep members. So if in the overall, we've sent about 80-something people to represent us at the National Assembly, and we only have appearance of a woman, I think that is not too good for us. Even in the north, where Sharia is much granted.
Remisa Ayedatewa, FCA to the podium. Please, a resounding applause. A resounding applause, please. Right. I'd also like to invite, beginning with the last speaker, our dear father, Chief Wole Olanipekun. Chief Wole Olanipekun. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Please, could you sit? Could you sit? Hello, 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 hello. Go on. For many years to come. Thank you so much for the good work. And of course, now photographs. Can we have the 3 awardees together with the governor, please? Flanking him on both sides. Flanking him on both sides. Thank you. All right. For the vote of thanks, we have the Deputy Chief, the Head of Service, right? The Head of Service, Mr. Bayo Phillips.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I have the privilege to appreciate all of us. Some quiet in the house, please. Each of our arrangement, we thank you, Your Excellency. My respect also and appreciation to our First Lady. Mommy, we thank you. I must also thank the Deputy Governor and Her Excellency, the wife of the Deputy Governor. As I move on quickly to thank our former governor from the lecture and the exposé today, you can see this is the bridge between the old and the new. Thank you, sir, for honoring us. Attention. And I quickly reflect on the provision of the book of Job. Our speaker, please don't mind my order. I think, and from my own perspective, a young man in primary 6 in 1976, we are trophies of God's goodness to Ondo State. And we have this responsibility to hold the banner aloft so that when reference will be made in the future, we will be on the good side of history. God bless all of us.
On behalf of the state government, we want to thank everyone for coming, and we wish all of us journey messages back to our destination.
And then you have the fourth category as the earnestly thanks grateful people. There are those who are grateful, there are those who are earnestly grateful. The earnestly grateful always go as a step ahead to think about what will have stopped them, what will have prevented them, and they thank God, not only for what God has done, but for what they are believing God to do. Beloved brother, what God has done for you is still very small compared to what God has in plan to do for your life. And there is one thing I know and that I'm sure about. When you show to God that you are grateful, God wants to do much more for you and in your life. It is my prayer that in your life you will see much more of God's blessing, of God's goodness, of God's faithfulness, and of God's power in the mighty name of Jesus. How do God expect you to live and walk in thanksgiving? You must give thanks publicly. Let it become your public show unto the Most High. Let everybody see